Thanks for joining us for another episode of Grace Notes. My name's Mike Acosta, and I want to talk to you today about what do you do when your situation requires more of you than there is of you. You know, that's been on a lot of people's minds. We've heard words like furloughed and laid off more than any time I can remember. We have unprecedented unemployment. Business owners are having to figure out how they're going to make payroll. Other folks are waking up in the morning and they've got a fever and a dry cough and panic sets in, and you realize suddenly you just don't have everything you need to make it through the situation that you're in. Inevitably, there's storms of life come along and they'll hit us. If it's not hit you during this season, rest assured at some point in time in your life, there's going to be a storm that comes that's bigger than you are. It's going to require more than you have in the bank. It's going to require more health than you currently possess. It's going to mean something to you in a different way because you won't immediately have an answer. You know, there's a story that's found in Mark 4 that's one of my favorite stories inside of the Bible, and it's these young men. They're in this exact situation. You see, they were born on the seacoast and they grew up on the waves, and they were very, very skilled sailors. They knew how to handle a boat in pretty much any condition. And they've got this rabbi with them. They've got Jesus, and they're going from one side of the Sea of Galilee to the other side. And as they're going, suddenly a wind whips up, and it creates a storm and waves that are so big that they didn't have enough boat. Their boats weren't big enough to withstand these waves. They didn't have enough skill to be able to make it through this torrent that's blowing on them. So what did they do? They were at a place where they surely thought their life was in danger. Let's pick up and read in Mark chapter 4, beginning in verse 35. It says, "On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, 'Let's go across to the other side.' And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. And other boats were with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion, and they woke him up and said, 'Teacher, do you not care that we're perishing?' And he awoke, and he rebuked the wind and the waves. And he said, 'Peace, be still.' And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said to them, 'Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith?' And they were filled with great fear, and said to one another, 'Who is this then, that even the wind and the sea obey him?' You see, they were in a boat that was about to capsize. It was about to flip over. The waves were so big. The wind was blowing so hard. I picture the scene. It seems very helpless and hopeless. But then they remembered they had Jesus. And somebody went and they woke up Jesus. And when they woke up Jesus, Jesus was able to calm the storm. But the storm wasn't the only thing that Jesus calmed. The second that he spoke to the storm and the wind died down, and there was evidence of his power, I'm quite certain that those young men's heart was calm as well. You see, Jesus was in the struggle with them, but he had not been engaged in the fight. I'm wondering how many of us live our life in such a way that, well, we're carrying Jesus everywhere we go, but we have not engaged him in our circumstance. How are we going to make payroll for my employees? Well, have we engaged Jesus in this issue? Oh man, I'm not feeling well today, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to see a doctor. Have we engaged Jesus into that situation? I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. I've been furloughed. I've been laid off. Have we engaged Jesus in that situation? Have you woken Jesus up inside of your situation? My encouragement to you is that you don't encounter any situation that Jesus is not engaged in. How do you engage Jesus in your situation? It's easy, the same way the young men on the boat did. Use your voice. You know, when you have a need, call it out by name. Name it inside of your prayers. It's kind of like putting a bullseye on what your problem is. Call your need out by name. Speak directly to your affliction. Speak directly to your affliction in a way that exercises the authority of Jesus Christ. The Bible says, "Greater is he that's in you than he that is in the world." So speak with the authority of Jesus to your problem and declare victory. Let your words be filled with what victory is going to look like, how you will celebrate, and how you're going to calibrate your future based on this great victory. Remember that words create worlds, words build faith, and words wake up Jesus in your life when you speak to Him. Remember, the storm isn't the only thing that gets calmed. You'll find greater peace the sooner you engage Jesus in your situation. Be blessed, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Grace Notes.